So yesterday I made a video about Adobe Animate and how it's shutting down and how there's many different ways to sunset a piece of software like this, and Adobe chose the worst possible one. The too long didn't read here on Animate is that they were pulling it off of Creative Cloud as of March 1st, about a month from now. And if you're already using it and already had it installed, you can continue using it until March of 2026, 1 year. And in their words, they said this: access to your Animate files and project data will end, which sounds to me like they're just cutting you off. And since you have to be online to open an Adobe app because it checks to see if you have an active account every time you open it up, it really sounded like they were just going to poof, make your software go away. I'm recording this at 8:30 in the morning. I think this might be the earliest I've ever recorded a video. Sorry for the hoarse voice. So I posted my video last night. It's about an hour later and whoosh, Adobe just completely changed course. We saved it, you guys, or I should say you saved it. My video came out pretty late in the day. I think I was too late to actually have any effect on it. Community pushback works. Making your voice heard about what's important to you works, especially if you're a customer of the company. So give yourself a round of applause. So I have a Reddit post here by Mike Chambers. I'm just gonna go ahead and read and react and just kind of go with the flow on this one. Mike is a member of Adobe's community team. I may have quoted him before in videos. He has a very long thread here, so let's jump into it. He says, "Hey everyone, my name is Mike Chambers. I work on the community team for Adobe, and I am a longtime Flash/Animate user. Yesterday, Adobe shared an email with the Adobe Animate customers on the future of Animate. What we shared did not meet our standards and caused a lot of confusion and angst within the community. On behalf of Adobe, I want to apologize. While an email to all Animate customers will go out shortly, I wanted to share a quick few things. Number one, our standard approach for applications in maintenance mode. Number two, changes to our plans for Adobe Animate and its status. And number three, our commitment to ensuring that you always have access to your content regardless of the state of development of an application." So number two is the important one here, which is the changes that they are making to the state of the application and where it is in terms of like maintenance mode. So this kind of gets into the nitty gritty here. We're going to start with what they talk about here with maintenance mode. If we deprioritize active development on an application, our approach is to move that application into maintenance mode with continued support. Under maintenance mode, the application will continue to be available. We will continue to receive security updates and bug fixes, but will not get new features. What's interesting here is I looked it up. It has been a while since Adobe Animate has been updated. In fact, the logo, they've changed the little icon font on all of their logos. Adobe Animate still has the thinner font from the old version a few years back. So I kind of had a hunch that they weren't doing a lot with it. And when I looked into it, the last update was in 2023. So it's been 2 years, a little over 2 years, since it's had an update. Which makes me think internally at Adobe, it's probably been in this maintenance mode for a while where they're not adding new features to it, not doing a lot to it. It's just that they didn't bother to share any of that information with us, the community, until just on Monday. He goes on to say, if we decide to go a step further and discontinue a product, we will work closely with the community to ensure that they have adequate time to plan in order to minimize disruptions, and will take steps so that the community continues to have long-term access to their content. That's really good. It was that time to actually plan that was the problem here, giving people a year, especially if you're a video game developer and you're relying on that. It takes more than a year to develop a lot of video games. Or if you want to do maintenance to a game that already exists, you want a longer runway there. Same thing if you're working on an animated TV show. What was interesting about the original email, it didn't mention this, but it was mentioned on the facts site, the FAQ site, is that they were giving normies like me 1 year to change over, but larger companies, enterprise customers, they were giving, I think 3 years. It was going to 2029. So all along they were capable of giving you the software. They just didn't want to make like their big customers angry, or at least more angry. Also hear the line that it says, we will take steps so that the community continues to have long-term access to their content's a really important one. Just thinking through ways that they could offer the software after they discontinue it. To me, it doesn't seem like that big a deal. There are options there. They could open source it. Adobe would never do that, but it would be cool if they chose to do that. Or just providing it as a download, even if it's not part of Creative Suite or they hide it away from the normal population. I talked about a lot of those options in my other video, but there are things you can do that are low work or zero work once it's set up for Adobe. So let's go on to the current state of Adobe Animate. Adobe Animate is in maintenance mode. While we no longer are adding new features to Animate, we will continue to support it and provide ongoing security and bug fixes. More importantly, Animate will continue to be available for both new and existing customers. This is a change from what we originally communicated in the email yesterday from the status of Adobe Animate, its time frame and availability. And I think that's really the big thing here, is just the fact that they're really extending this out, that we now know about the maintenance mode. We know that there won't be any new updates coming, but we'll still be able to use the software for this foreseeable future, which is exactly how they should have handled this. To be clear, we are not discontinuing or removing access to Adobe Animate, and it will continue to be available to both existing and new customers. Having it available for new customers is interesting because that's above and beyond what I thought they would do or that they needed to do. In the little Creative Cloud app that lets you download all the Creative Cloud things, there's a place for like old apps, and I thought that's where they would just put it. They just kind of set it back there, kind of hide it away, so if you really needed it, you could access it, but it wasn't available to new customers. Maybe they will still do that within the app, but it kind of sounds like, hey, new customers, you could still jump in and use the program, which is interesting. I wouldn't recommend it because we don't know how long, if you're just getting into animation, like it's going to be available. I would not build a career on it at this point. Going forward, I would not build anything on this, but if you need to do maintenance or whatever on your projects, it's probably going to be around for several years longer than we initially anticipated. Commitments for long-term content file access. For Adobe Animate, our commitment is to work with the community to ensure users continue to have long-term access to their content, regardless of the state of development of the application. You can find the latest information on our website. Yeah, I think this is the interesting part, is how this is really how you sunset a product, is you still allow people to kind of access their files and get into things and all that fun stuff. It seems pretty obvious. I don't know. I would love to be a fly on the wall as to how the initial decision was made to just cut it off. The one question I have that will probably never be answered is just, how much work does it take at a company like Adobe just to keep something in maintenance mode if you're not working on new features, if you're only doing like security and bug fixes from time to time, which it doesn't seem like that would happen very often, but maybe it does. Maybe that part is a lot more work than I realize. If it's in maintenance mode, are you like dedicating 2 people full time to it? Is it just like, we come back to it every few months and patch it? Like, I have no idea how much time and money it takes to like actually keep it in maintenance mode. He leaves a little personal note at the end. He says, as someone who started their career with Macromedia Flash 3 and Macromedia Generator, Adobe Animate has a special place in my heart. I know how frustrating and stressful this has been, and we clearly could have handled the communication better. I might not have answers to everything, but I will try to answer any questions that you might have. This whole statement, this whole thing is like a little capsule of every interaction I've ever had with Adobe, and like just a 2-day span. Every time I talk to someone over there, if they're working on products or if they're part of like community outreach or that sort of thing, marketing, these are amazing people. I come away from those interactions thinking, oh man, this person who works at Adobe is great. They really get it. They love the software, the craft, what they're doing, and I come away from those talks thinking, dang, what an awesome person. And then Adobe, the company, turns around and does something extraordinarily stupid. It's like the leadership team is out there doing their own thing, whatever they want, and when things go sideways, they let the competent people walk in and clean up the mess. That's exactly what this looks like here. One of the comments on this thread is, are you legit? And Mike answers, I'm the real deal. And he links to his book, Generator and Flash Demystified. This is, holy cow, this is like 2000 era, hanging out in the Borders bookstore, looking for computer books. This is what all of the Macromedia books looked like. This is ancient. How old is this? It's like 2002, 2003. Let's search for it. When did this book come out? 2001! I was only off by a year. Yeah, everything's okay, sorry. I shouldn't yell early in the morning. The top post on this thread is, this is great news. Be careful what you communicate publicly next time. I had a sleepless night stressing on what I would do next since my career is dependent on this software. This is one of those things where it's like, yeah, no duh, why did they not see this? Reading all these comments in the posts on Bluesky and Twitter over the last few days, people have come out of the woodwork to talk about how they still use this software, and that's the main reason Adobe changed their minds. But when you were charging $70 to your customers to use this software in the first place, you have a commitment to your users. There are people who went to school to learn this software to get jobs. This whole 1 year until shutdown thing was so so irresponsible. They're literally screwing with people's livelihoods, and it's just so incredibly reckless. What did they think would happen? Anyway, I could go on and on about this. I'm going to end this here. Shout out to my course, Learn to Draw in 60 Days. There's a link down below if you want to learn more about that. But that's all I have. If I have any updates, I don't think I'll make another video unless there's big news, but if there's like anything that needs to be updated, I'll throw together a community post or something here on YouTube. So yeah, that's all I got. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you in a couple of days.